What if everything you thought you knew about your school was a lie? What if the classrooms, the hallways, the rooms you walk past every day were hiding a dark secret? A secret so terrifying that it's been covered up for years. But now, it's coming to light. The school has been haunted, and the whispers have begun. Stay with me, because what's waiting in the dark corners of this school will make you question everything you've ever believed about the world around you. Schools are supposed to be safe places, right? A place to learn, to grow, to make memories. But what if your school wasn't as innocent as you thought? Behind every classroom door, behind every hallway, and every piece of old wood, there's a hidden terror that no one dares to speak of. Today, we're about to uncover a terrifying story that starts with one high school student who thought her school was just like any other. But Samantha's story will change the way you think about the hallways you walk through every day. Brace yourself, because you're about to hear about the haunted corridors, the forgotten students, and the chilling mystery that's been buried beneath your school for decades. This isn't just a ghost story. It's a warning. And it all starts in a place you've been walking past every day. Samantha had always thought her school was like any other. A little dull, maybe, but nothing out of the ordinary. Until one day, something felt off. It started with strange sound in the hallways. Whispers, faint, barely audible, but enough to catch your attention. She thought it was just her imagination. But the next day, she heard it again. Soft whispers, almost like they were calling her name. As she walked down the hallway, she saw nothing. No one was there. But the air grew heavier with each step she took. The whispers continued, just loud enough for her to hear. At first, it seemed like some strange prank, but then she noticed something terrifying. The whispers weren't just coming from behind her. They were coming from all around her, as if the walls themselves were speaking. It wasn't until she passed an old locker, a locker that had been there since the school was built, that she realized something else. The whispers weren't just words. They were names of students who had gone missing, and Samantha's name was one of them. It didn't take long for Samantha to connect the dots. There were rumors of a section of the school that had been abandoned for years. The old wing, a place where no one dared to go. It was sealed off long ago, but the stories of strange noises, flickering lights, and even disappearances had haunted the students for generations. Curious and feeling a strange compulsion to uncover the truth, Samantha decided to visit the old wing after hours. That evening, as the sun set, she slipped past the security guards and made her way toward the forbidden part of the building. The moment she stepped foot inside, she felt a chill run down her spine. The air was different here. It was like the room was holding its breath. The hallway stretched on endlessly. The walls lined with cracked lockers and old decaying classroom doors. No one had been here for decades, but Samantha wasn't alone. She could feel eyes on her, as if something or someone was waiting in the dark. Suddenly, she noticed something strange. The air was thick with a sense of unease, as if the walls themselves were alive, holding on to a secret. She walked deeper into the corridor, feeling drawn to a room at the end. A room that for some reason felt like the source of everything. The door to the room creaked as Samantha slowly pushed it open. Inside was an old classroom. Desks overturned, broken windows, and dust everywhere. But it wasn't just the room that caught her attention. It was the mark on the floor. A strange, jagged symbol. Almost like something had been dragged through the dust over and over. As she stepped closer, she felt a sudden wave of cold air, freezing her to the bone. But that wasn't the scariest part. The scariest part was what she found in the corner. A piece of old paper with strange cryptic writing. She could barely make out the words, but one thing was clear. It was a warning. The more she looked, the more she realized that the school wasn't just haunted by spirits. It had been the site of something far darker. An experiment. Something had been done to the students who had disappeared. The whispers in the hall were not just memories. They were trapped souls. Souls that couldn't rest. Souls that were trying to warn her. Samantha had stepped into the heart of the darkness. As Samantha pieced everything together, the picture became clearer and far more terrifying. The disappearances weren't just random. They were all linked to the old wing. The school had been hiding a dark secret. It wasn't just a haunted building. It was the site of a series of illegal experiments performed on students who no one had ever seen again. The records had been erased, the names wiped away, but the truth remained buried beneath the floorboards. What did they do to those students? Samantha didn't know, but she was determined to find out. As she researched, she uncovered even more disturbing details. There were reports of strange symbols being found all over the school. Symbols that matched the one on the floor of the abandoned classroom. Each symbol was a seal, and the purpose of these seals was clear: to trap something in the school forever. Samantha couldn't stop herself. She had uncovered too much, and the spirits had made it clear. They wanted her to know the truth. But as she made her way back to the old wing one final time, she felt it. A presence she couldn't escape. The door to the room slammed shut behind her, trapping her inside. The whispers grew louder, now unmistakable. They were speaking to her, warning her to leave, but it was too late. The seal had been broken. In the darkness, a figure appeared, a shadow with hollow eyes staring at her. The spirit of a student who had never left. Samantha tried to run, but the door wouldn't budge. It was as if the school itself was holding her captive, unwilling to let her go. She screamed, and just as the figure reached out to touch her, the lights flickered, and then silence. When the police arrived the next morning, the old wing was sealed shut again. Samantha was gone, her name erased from the school's records. And the whispers? They never stopped. So what do you think? Are you brave enough to walk down the halls of your school, knowing that something might be lurking in the shadows? Because sometimes, the scariest monsters aren't the ones we can see. They're the ones we've ignored for years. The question isn't whether or not there are ghosts. The question is, what happens when they refuse to stay quiet? Have you ever experienced something strange at school? Something you couldn't explain? Let me know in the comments below. And if you've learned one thing from this story, it's that the truth is often hidden in the darkest places. But are you ready to keep searching? Or would you rather walk away? The choice is yours. But be careful what you find. I hope this version captures the atmosphere you're looking for. It builds more on the mystery, increasing tension with every moment, while keeping the viewer hooked and eager for more. The call to action is designed to keep engagement high and make the audience reflect on their own experiences. Thanks for watching this video.